Alrighty, so I can't believe I'm making one of these video literally this early into the season. I mean, we're not even a month into the season, and also just 5 games into the new season, but we already have a head coach that end up on the chopping block. I mean, I think this is probably the fastest we've ever seen a team fire their head coach this early into the season. But today it was announced that CF Montreal have fired Laurent Courtois after just one short season, and then of course five games into the new season. Now, obviously, this is definitely very, very harsh if you think about it, considering that, not only the fact that it's only 5 games into the season, but Montreal still have not had a home game yet in the beginning of the season. And we knew that, things were going to be rough for this team in the beginning of the season, especially when you start on the road with a game road trip, waiting until the weather in Montreal improve before they can play at home at Stade Saputo. And anytime when you have that long of a road trip, it's going to be pretty much a miracle in terms of trying to get through, still close to being in the playoff line, and especially with the roster that he's worked with. Again, one of the reason why that Montreal fans hate their front office, and especially hate their owner as well. I've said it before. Joey Saputo probably is the most hated owner right now in MLS that is not named John Fisher, mainly because he's insanely cheap. I mean, he's just simply does not want to spend money, and that when you look at the investment that Montreal has done for out these last couple of seasons, it's been almost at a bare minimum. And we know that Laurent Courtois has the talent to bring back the Wilfred Nancy system and the Nancy ball that worked well with Montreal in that short season when Nancy was with Montreal. But the problem is that if you're not getting the players that he wants to, it's no surprise that things are not working out. And heading into this season, not only the fact that once again they did not reinvest in the team, but really when you look at this team, it feels like they completely downgraded compared to what we saw last season. And last season they didn't really have a good squad either, and yet somehow in some way Laurent Courtois able to get that team to the playoffs. And if we can get that kind of squad into the playoffs, albeit it was only in a playing game, I feel like he deserved at least a year or two. But of course, unfortunately, he is in a team that, as I said, there's a reason why Joey Saputo is very hated by its own fan base, and certainly for some casual fans of Montreal as well, because he is a guy that is very ruthless when it comes to his firing. It doesn't also come from the coaching spot where we've seen a lot of head coaching turnover come from Montreal these last couple of years, but it also come from the front office as well. I mean, what we saw last year with Olivier Renier sent packing in the middle of the season, and well, Renier has had his misses in terms of some of the signings. He actually has done a relatively good job at least building a competent squad that can at least compete for the playoffs. So the fact that they decided to fire him, despite the fact that the team was still doing well, not only it was a big surprise, but just another example of the ruthlessness that Joey Saputo will show on this team, and that there's a reason why this team is kind of almost treading water year after year, because all these firing. I've said this before. You can fire many head coach year after year, but it gets to a point where maybe the head coach is not the reason why the team is kind of sputtering. Maybe it goes deeper into the front office and especially in the ownership group. And unfortunately, Montreal is one of those teams where it is pretty clear that the head coach is not the real reason why this team is sputtering these last couple of years. It's clearly in the front office, and especially who actually owns the team of being one of the cheapest team in the league. And it's getting to a point where now, again, Montreal is in a tough situation, similar situation to what I would say about the San Jose Earthquakes, and even with the Colorado Rapids, to a couple years ago, where who wants to be a head coach of CF Montreal? There's no way that anyone would want to coach this team, knowing the fact that that you are going to be set with unrealistic expectation, and especially not getting the backing that you're going to get from the front office, and pretty much our work with bare minimum. And unless you perform miracles like what we saw with Wilfred Nancy did with Montreal, doing that one season, to a point where he got so pissed off with the power struggle that he had with the front office, which is another thing that a new head coach of Montreal has to work with. Not only the fact that you need to to be able to meet unrealistic expectation with a bare bone kind of squad. But you also want to make sure you don't criticize the front office and the ownership about not investing, because if you're going to do that and you create a power struggle, you're going to always lose out on that. I mean, that's definitely a location that no head coach, even with head coach that desperately need a job and have some upside to it, will want to join the team. So I think right now CF Montreal is in a really tough situation, and really they have no one to blame but themselves. I mean, I think Joey Saputo pretty much have no one to blame but for himself with these ruthless kind of firing, because it's pretty clear that when you look at all the firing and hiring that's going on right now, it doesn't really change the thing, and it goes back to the guy that owns the team. And this is also why, as a Quakes fan, I definitely show a lot of empathy for Montreal fans, because I know what it feels like to deal with an owner that clearly doesn't care about the team, clearly being very cheap when it comes to the signing, and then the owners kind of pretend to be caring about the team by basically firing or hiring new head coaches or front office member, think that would be a temporary solution. And well, we have seen that it could be a temporary solution, especially with the new head coach boost that is being happen. At the end of the day, it doesn't really solve anything long term. Rather than to just not only continue to stagnate, but to a point where, I would not be surprised if Montreal could be battling alongside with Toronto in terms of the worst team in the league. It is kind of sad, the fact that as we're gonna get the Canadian Classic coming up this season, that could be a Canadian Classic, which could be a battle between the two teams that looking to not win the wooden spoon. It could be a wooden spoon derby that we would see in the Canadian Classic, and consider what the Canadian Classic has been a couple of years ago, and in the history of it, this is probably the time where it's the worst part of the Canadian Classic, where both two of these Canadian teams just simply struggling because of inept ownership right now. And yeah, again, I think it is pretty clear that I'm pretty sure every Montreal fans, and even some fans that don't know too much about the Montreal situation, know who is exactly the real blame for the reason why this team is stagnated. And unless if that certain owner doesn't step down, and if they don't just completely clean house again, because pretty much a lot of the front office member are just kind of puppets of the ownership group that this team currently has, nothing is going to change with this Montreal team. A new head coach is not going to really change and spark this team in the long term future. But let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this video? And if you're a Montreal fan, what do you think about this news? I mean, I feel you, Montreal fans, in terms of the frustration that is going on. And I'm also interested to see exactly where Laurent Courtois would go. It's interesting to see whether if he's going to go back to Columbus and join Wilfred Nancy staff. I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if he might go somewhere else as well, because with the way that the coaching carousel works in MLS, it seems like every single year we get like a head coach being fired at one place, and then next thing you know, they're gonna go somewhere else. But there's no doubt that I do believe Laurent Courtois is a very talented head coach, and I feel like the way that been he's been harshly treated with Montreal is going to be similar to what we see with Wilfred Nancy. I would not be surprised if someone would give Laurent Courtois a chance in the head coaching role as soon as maybe even this year, that they're going to be prosper, because I do like the ideas that he can bring to the teams. And I think if he is given the talent and given the investment, he can play that Nancy ball kind of system with a team that desperately wants to need a new head coach, and also will have the investment to do so. But like I said, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this news? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.